Paper 1, Section 1, Climate Change. What is climate change? Climate change is the warming up of the Earth's atmosphere. This is caused by gases in the atmosphere such as carbon dioxide and methane that trap heat. In recent years, the amount of these gases in the atmosphere have increased, which has led scientists to believe that they are responsible for global warming. These gases responsible for climate change are often referred to as greenhouse gases as they exert a greenhouse or warming effect on the atmosphere. What is the evidence for climate change? Well, the Earth's temperature has fluctuated over time, but overall, the atmosphere has been increasing in temperature. Some fluctuations are explained through the Quaternary period, the Ice Age, but since the 1970s, the average global temperature has indicated a clear warming trend beyond fluctuations. We know what the temperature of the atmosphere used to be centuries ago due to oxygen trapped in layers of ice. So what are the causes of climate change? They are divided into natural and human causes. Natural causes of climate change are orbital change, known as the Milankovitch cycle. The path that the Earth takes when it orbits the Sun can change, meaning that the Earth can sometime be closer to the Sun and therefore the atmosphere will be warmer. Volcanic eruptions. When a volcano erupts, it produces carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas. But sometimes volcanoes can temporarily have a cooling effect, as ash from the eruption can block the sun. And solar activity. The sun has dark spots on its surface called sunspots. They are associated with solar flares and increased heat output. Basically, the sun is stronger. On the other hand, the human factors are fossil fuels. The main source of our electricity, petrol, and heating is burning fossil fuels. When fossil fuels are burnt, they release lots of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Next, deforestation. Through photosynthesis, trees take in carbon dioxide and store it as carbon. But when trees are cut down, all their stored carbon is released back into the atmosphere. And finally, agriculture. Agriculture is anything to do with farming, crops, and farm animals. Agriculture accounts for 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions through livestock, cattle, passing gas, manure, rice farming, and nitrogen-rich fertilizers. What are the global effects of climate change? Well, it's causing the polar ice caps to melt and glaciers to shrink in size, with some glaciers at risk of disappearing. This endangers polar habitats such as penguins and polar bears and causes the sea levels to rise. And stronger tropical storms. Warmer oceans means there's more evaporation in the atmosphere, which provides energy for storms. And lastly, rising sea levels. With the ice caps melting and thermal expansion meaning warm ocean waters are expanding in volume, low-lying countries such as the Maldives and Tuvalu are at risk of being fully submerged underwater. So how can we manage climate change? We can use alternative energy sources. By using low-carbon, renewable energy sources such as solar power, wind power, tidal power, etc. It reduces our reliance on burning fossil fuels for energy. Also, planting trees. We know that trees remove carbon from the atmosphere through photosynthesis. There are two ways we plant trees. Through afforestation, we plant trees in an area that has never had trees before, and reforestation, which is planting trees in an area that has been previously forested. Then we have carbon capture. This is using technology that involves capturing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, compressing it, and injecting it underground for long-term storage. And lastly, we have international agreements. This is governments negotiating towards a more sustainable future. For example, the Paris Agreement in 2015, it is a legally binding climate deal. What can we do to adapt to climate change? We can build houses on stilts so they aren't destroyed in the event of a flood. We can build seawalls and flood defenses to protect our coastline from rising sea levels and flooding. We can build artificial islands to relocate people living in areas at risk of flooding. We can construct desalination plants to convert seawater into fresh drinking water, although this is very expensive to do. We can construct reservoirs to store water, and we can grow drought-resistant crops, although these will be genetically modified foods. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about climate change.